Emily Grant's pen hovers over the signature line for exactly 2 seconds. The warrant smells like toner and bad decisions. Nathan Cross's name sits at the top in 12-point calibri, and beneath it, corporate fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy to defraud investors. 300 pages proving a man she used to know built an empire on stolen money. She signs at 6:47 a.m. Her hand doesn't shake, it should. The federal building hums with the particular silence of places designed to ruin lives efficiently. Burnt coffee drifts from the break room. Carpet fibers hold the stains of 1,000 depositions. Emily carries the file to her office and doesn't open it again. She's already memorized every page. Bank transfers, shell companies, falsified earnings reports. The evidence is immaculate. What the file doesn't mention: Riverside, Montana. 17 years old. The summer before he left for Princeton, and she stayed behind with a father whose lungs were filling with fluid and a promise she made at his bedside: make something of yourself, make them accountable. She's kept both. And here's the thing nobody tells you about prosecutors like Emily: they don't get to choose their cases. The file lands on your desk and you either take it or you prove you can't do your job. So when Nathan Cross's name came across Emily's desk, she had exactly one choice, which means you're about to watch two people who once knew everything about each other destroy each other in a courtroom. If you want to see how this ends, and trust me, you won't see it coming, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story only gets darker from here. Now, let's get back to that deposition room. 72 hours later, Emily walks into conference room B on the 8th floor. The air conditioning is set to Arctic. Nathan is already seated, hands folded on the table, wearing a suit that costs more than her car. His attorney isn't there yet. He looks up. 10 years collapse into 3 seconds. His face does something she doesn't have a name for: not surprise, not recognition. Something older. Something that survived a decade of silence and 2 different lives, and the particular violence of becoming strangers to someone who once knew the exact rhythm of your breathing. Emily sets her briefcase on the table. The sound cracks through the room. Nathan's mouth opens. The door behind her swings wide, heels on tile, a voice like silk wrapped around a blade. "Darling, I'm so sorry I'm late." Victoria Langford enters the way people enter when they own every room they've ever walked into. Harvard Law, undefeated trial record, diamonds on her left hand the size of Emily's student loan payments. She touches Nathan's shoulder. Once, twice. She makes certain Emily is watching. She turns, extends a hand Emily doesn't take. "Ms. Grant, I've read your record. Impressive conviction rate. 92%, isn't it?" Victoria's smile is a scalpel. "I do hope you're prepared for what happens when you lose for the first time." Emily opens her file without answering. The first document slides across the table. Financial statement. Nathan Cross. Account number ending in 4739. Transfer date, June 18, 2015. Amount, $847,000. Offshore holding company registered in the Cayman Islands. The week after their high school graduation. Emily has looked at this page 40 times in 3 months. Nathan is seeing it for the first time right now. His jaw tightens, his hands go still. The deposition begins. 3 hours in, Emily's coffee has gone cold. The fluorescent lights hum at a frequency designed to strip concentration. The court reporter's keyboard clicks like a metronome, counting down to something Emily can't see yet. Victoria objects for the 14th time. Objection calls for speculation. The magistrate, a woman who's been on the bench longer than Emily's been alive, doesn't even look up. Sustained. Emily's supervisor, seated in the observation row, makes a note on his legal pad. The pen scratches. Emily knows exactly what that sound costs. Every sustained objection is a crack in her case. Every crack is a question about her competence. Victoria isn't theatrical. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't perform for an audience that isn't there yet. She simply dismantles Emily's questioning with procedural precision that exposes gaps Emily didn't know existed until Victoria named them out loud. Emily adjusts, rephrases, comes at the financial records from a different angle. Victoria objects again, sustained. Nathan sits perfectly still across the table. He hasn't looked at Emily since the $847,000 transfer went into evidence. His hands rest flat on the mahogany surface. No fidgeting, no tells. A decade of board meetings and hostile investors taught him how to turn his body into marble. At hour 3, Victoria sets down her pen. Your Honor, the defense would like to introduce a motion to recuse the prosecuting attorney based on a prior undisclosed personal relationship with the defendant. The air in the room changes temperature. Emily's supervisor stops writing. The court reporter's hands freeze mid-keystroke. Victoria's voice remains conversational, helpful, even, like she's doing Emily a favor by bringing this up now instead of at trial. Ms. Grant has failed to disclose a relationship with Mr. Cross that predates this investigation by approximately 10 years. This constitutes a conflict of interest under federal prosecutorial guidelines and warrants immediate recusal. Emily has 30 seconds before the motion goes on the official record. She stands, there is no current relationship. The past is not relevant to this proceeding. Victoria's smile doesn't reach anywhere near her eyes. Then you won't mind if we subpoena your phone records from the night of June 14th. She pauses, lets the date hang. The Peninsula Hotel Bar, room 1247, 4 hours. Nathan's hands go still in a way that tells Emily he didn't know Victoria knew about that night, which means Victoria knows things Nathan doesn't tell her, which means she's been watching both of them longer than anyone realized. The magistrate tables the motion pending further documentation. The deposition concludes at 6:32 p.m. Victoria packs her briefcase with the particular efficiency of someone who just won something nobody else saw her take. She leaves without looking back. Nathan stays seated. Emily's supervisor has already exited through the rear door. His face said everything his mouth didn't. We're going to talk about room 1247. The conference room empties. Court reporter, magistrate's clerk. The building settles into the hollow silence of after hours. Nathan and Emily, alone, first time in 10 years. He speaks first. You filed the anonymous tip, didn't you? 6 months ago. SEC hotline, that's how this started. Emily closes her file. The sound echoes. She stands. The evidence speaks for itself. She walks toward the door. Emily. She doesn't look back. The hallway is fluorescent and empty. Her heels click on tile that's been waxed so many times it reflects her distorted shape back at her. Her phone vibrates in her coat pocket. Text, unknown number. Your brother called. He's asking about money again. Thought you should know. V. The federal building parking garage smells like exhaust and old rain. Emily sits in her car with the engine off, phone pressed to her ear, listening to it ring. Daniel doesn't answer. She tries again. Third ring he picks up. Background noise floods the line, voices, music, something glass breaking against a wall. Hey. His voice has the particular brightness of someone trying very hard to sound sober. What's up? Where are you? Just out, catching up with some people. The bar noise behind him says he's lying about which people and why. Daniel. I'm fine, I'm good. Actually, I'm great. Just had a little situation come up with rent and I was wondering. How much? Silence, the music in the background swells. Someone shouts something Emily doesn't catch. 2,000 just until next month. I've got a job starting and... You said that last time. This is different. It's not different. It's never different. Emily closes her eyes. She knows the math by heart now. If she doesn't send it, Daniel calls someone else. And the someone else in Riverside is a man named Corey Vickers, who runs a sports betting operation out of the back of Miller's Hardware and owns half the town in small debts that compound like interest on a wound that won't close. Daniel owes Corey $18,000. Emily has been paying it down in $500 installments for 2 years. Daniel doesn't know this. He thinks he's managing it himself. He thinks he's functional. I can't tonight. Daniel's voice shifts, the brightness cracks. I really need. I said I can't tonight. Panic bleeds through the line. Okay, that's fine, I'll figure it out, no big deal. But it is a big deal, because if Daniel tries to figure it out himself, he'll do something stupid, and stupid in Riverside means Corey Vickers, and Corey Vickers means things Emily can't fix from a federal building 7 hours away. She leans her head against the steering wheel. I'll send it in the morning. You're the best, I swear I'm getting it together, I really am. He hangs up before she can say anything else. Emily sits in the silence. Car alarms echo somewhere on a lower level. Her mouth tastes like metal. Her stomach turns in a way that has nothing to do with Daniel's voice and everything to do with a specific detail she's been trying not to notice for 3 weeks. She puts her hand on her stomach, realizes what she's doing, pulls it away. She drives home, doesn't eat. The apartment is dark and smells like the takeout she forgot to throw away yesterday. The pregnancy test sits in the pharmacy bag on the bathroom counter, where she left it this morning. She stares at it for 11 minutes. Then she takes it. Positive. She sits on the cold tile floor and counts backward. 8 weeks. June 14th. The Peninsula Hotel. Room 1247. 4 hours that weren't supposed to mean anything except closure, except the kind of goodbye that comes 10 years too late, except Nathan's hands in her hair and his voice saying her name like it still meant something. Nathan's name at the top of an arrest warrant. Victoria's smile in the deposition room. Daniel's debt in Riverside. Her father's promise at his bedside, make them accountable. The test strip on the counter. She picks up her phone, opens her email, starts a new draft to her supervisor. Subject line, recusal request, USV Cross. She types one sentence. I have a conflict of interest that was not disclosed at case assignment and requires my immediate removal from. She stares at it, deletes it, closes the draft. She has court in the morning. The trial starts in 7 weeks. She goes to bed and doesn't sleep. Paul Driscoll sits in Victoria Langford's office at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday and delivers information she's already half confirmed herself. The office smells like leather and money, mahogany desk, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city Paul used to protect presidents in. Now he protects billionaires. The pay is better. The work is dirtier. Nathan had me run her schedule. Paul keeps his voice flat. Former Secret Service training, report facts, not judgments. Week before the June deposition. Hotel reservations, flight times, dinner at Marceline's downtown. Victoria doesn't react. She's good at this, the particular stillness of people who have weaponized patience. He showed up at the Peninsula bar because he knew she'd be there. Paul slides a folder across the desk, security logs, lobby camera timestamps, Nathan entering at 8:47 p.m., Emily already seated at the bar, Nathan taking the stool 2 down from hers, not beside her, strategic distance, close enough to be noticed, far enough to pretend coincidence. Victoria opens the folder, reads without expression. Paul watches her face do nothing at all. She closes the file, pulls her checkbook from the top drawer. The sound of the check tearing from the book is specific, expensive paper, high thread count. "Thank you, Paul." He takes the check, doesn't look at the amount, doesn't need to. Victoria pays well for loyalty that flows in 2 directions. After he leaves, Victoria makes a single phone call. The person on the other end doesn't speak. Professional silence, the kind that costs extra. "Emily Grant is 8 weeks pregnant. I need you to confirm paternity." Quietly. The line disconnects. Victoria opens Nathan's trial file, blue legal folder, his name embossed in gold lettering that cost more than most people's monthly rent. She finds Emily's deposition transcript, page 47, Emily's name highlighted in yellow. Victoria uncaps her pen, adds a margin note in handwriting that looks like calligraphy learned at boarding school. Emotional compromise, exploit during cross. Across the city, Nathan sits in his own office. Floor 53. Corner windows showing the skyline in every direction. Empire he built from a single software patent and 10 years of refusing to look backward. His phone is face up on the desk. Screen showing a photograph he took in Riverside when he was 17 and stupid, and convinced loving someone was the same as keeping them. Emily, sitting on the hood of his car, laughing at something he said, her hair catching Montana sunlight in a way that made his chest hurt. He hasn't deleted it. Victoria doesn't know he kept it. Paul probably told her anyway. Nathan locks his phone. The screen goes black. 3 days later, a courier arrives at Emily's office. No return address. Brown paper. Federal building security already screened it. Nothing dangerous except what's inside. Emily opens it at her desk. Photocopy of a property deed. Her childhood home. 1847 Claremont Drive, Riverside, Montana. Sold by Corey Vickers to Richard Hale. Transaction date, April 3, 2022, 3 weeks after her father's funeral. Purchase price, $340,000. $40,000 below market value. Clip to the deed, handwritten note on personal stationery, expensive weight, the kind of paper that announces itself. "I'm sorry about your father. This was always meant to come back to you. R.H." Emily reads it 3 times. Richard Hale is dead, car accident, single vehicle, no witnesses. The house is still in his estate. And the note is dated July 9th, 2 days before the crash that killed him. Stop, I need you to sit with this for a second, because Emily just found out that the man who bought her father's house, the house that held every memory she had before the law became her entire life, died 72 hours before he could tell her why he bought it. And the trial that's about to destroy Nathan Cross. It's built on evidence that Richard Hale may have planted. So here's my question. Have you ever realized that the person you've been fighting might not be your real enemy? Comment betrayed if you know what that feels like. Because Emily is about to find out who's really been pulling the strings, and it's going to break everything she thought she knew. Marcus Reid knocks at 9 p.m. 3 sharp raps that announce authority before the badge does. Emily opens the door and sees the weight distribution first, back foot, hands visible, the particular stance of people trained to enter hostile situations without escalating them. Ms. Grant, Special Agent Marcus Reid, FBI. He holds up credentials. I need to speak with you about Richard Hale. Her apartment smells like the Chinese takeout she didn't finish. The lights are too bright. She hasn't changed out of work clothes. Marcus steps inside when she doesn't say no. I have a warrant to access Richard Hale's office communications, phone records, email servers, anything connecting him to Cross Industries. He speaks like someone who's delivered this speech 100 times but still makes it sound personal. You're the prosecutor on the Cross case. I need your cooperation. Emily crosses her arms. What kind of cooperation? Deposition transcripts, financial discovery, anything showing Richard's involvement in the fraud allegations. He pauses. I think he was covering for someone. I think that someone might be the reason he's dead. The bathroom door is half open. Emily realizes this the same moment Marcus's eyes track to it. The pregnancy test box sits in the trash can, white and blue packaging visible from the hallway. He looks away immediately. Sorry, door was open. He doesn't mention it. What he does mention, Richard Hale's car accident wasn't an accident. Emily's arms drop. Marcus continues, professional, clinical. Break line cut, clean job, someone who knew what they were doing, no witnesses, no cameras at that stretch of Route 9. He pulls out a tablet, shows her a call log. Last person Richard contacted before the crash was this number, registered to Victoria Langford's law firm, called at 10:47 p.m. Conversation lasted 4 minutes. Emily stares at the screen. Marcus puts the tablet away. Hands her a business card instead, heavyweight stock, FBI seal embossed, his direct line handwritten on the back. If you need anything, and I mean anything, you call me. The way he says it carries weight beyond professional courtesy. He leaves. Emily stands in her apartment and realizes she's being protected by the FBI from a woman who's engaged to Nathan and might have killed his CFO to frame him for fraud. Her phone rings at 11:47 p.m. Unknown number. She ignores it. It rings again. She answers on the 5th ring. Nathan's voice. I know about Marcus Reid. Emily's hand tightens on the phone. I know he was at your apartment. I know what he told you about Richard. How? Paul Driscoll works for me, and Victoria, he tells us both everything. Nathan's breathing is controlled but wrong, which means she knows about Reid too, which means you need to be careful. Emily sits down on the couch. The apartment is dark except for the streetlight through the window. Why do you care? Silence 4 seconds of it. Because I never stopped. The line goes dead. Emily sits in the dark, phone still at her ear. 17 days until trial. A dead CFO. An FBI agent who looked at the pregnancy test box and didn't judge her. A billionaire who tracked her schedule and engineered a hotel bar encounter, and just admitted he's been watching her for 10 years. And a defense attorney who's been 4 moves ahead of everyone since the beginning. Emily sets her phone on the coffee table. It lights up immediately. Text from Marcus Reid, "Nathan just called me. We need to talk tomorrow, 8 a.m., Federal Building." She doesn't respond. She lies down on the couch and doesn't sleep. Victoria's forensic tech is a woman named Carla who charges $600 an hour and doesn't ask questions about legality. They're in Victoria's office, 7 a.m. The city outside is still gray with pre-dawn light. Carla has audio equipment spread across the mahogany conference table, laptop, external speakers, waveform analysis software glowing green on 3 monitors. SEC tip line records. Carla clicks through files. Sealed by federal court order, but metadata's accessible if you know where to look. Victoria stands behind her, coffee in hand, watching. Call originated from area code 406, Montana, duration 47 minutes, date logged 6 months before Cross's arrest. Carla pulls up the audio file. Voice is distorted. Caller used software to mask identity, but speech patterns don't lie. She hits play. The voice comes through mechanical, robotic, wrong pitch. But the rhythm underneath, the particular cadence of someone choosing words carefully, the small pause before saying Nathan's name, that's unmistakable. "I'm calling to report financial irregularities at Cross Industries. The CFO, Richard Hale, has been moving money through shell companies." Carla lets it run for 11 minutes. The caller details everything. Account numbers Victoria's never seen in discovery. Transfer dates that predate the SEC investigation by 8 months. Patterns of fraud so specific they could only come from someone inside Nathan's company or someone who loved him enough to have memorized his business before she left. Nathan walks in at 7:43 a.m. Victoria texted him 20 minutes ago, "You need to hear this." He sits, listens. His body goes still first. Then something collapses inward, shoulders, jaw, the careful posture he maintains in every room that might be hostile. Carla stops the playback. Nathan stares at the laptop. "That's Emily." Victoria nods, "Yes. She tried to warn me. She tried to save you." Victoria sets her coffee down, moves to stand directly in his eyeline. "And then she became the prosecutor assigned to destroy you. So the question you need to answer, Nathan, is whether that makes her a hero or a traitor." Nathan doesn't answer. Victoria waits 3 seconds. "I've already decided." She leaves him alone in the office. Nathan sits for 16 minutes. The audio file is still open on the screen. 47 minutes of Emily's voice trying to stop something she couldn't name yet, trying to protect him from fraud he didn't know existed, trying to save an empire he built while she was paying down her brother's debts in a town she couldn't escape. He picks up his phone, calls Emily's cell. Straight to voicemail. He hangs up. Calls Marcus Reid instead. They meet in a parking garage at 2 a.m. Concrete and exhaust and the particular emptiness of structures built for cars, not people. Nathan hands Marcus a flash drive. Richard Hale's personal server, everything Emily tried to tell the SEC, bank records, emails, shell company documentation, it's all here. Marcus doesn't take it immediately. "Where did you get this?" "Victoria's office. She doesn't know I have it." "That makes you an accessory to theft of attorney work product." "I don't care. Nathan's voice is flat, final. Emily tried to save me and I let Victoria turn her into the enemy. So now you take this and you finish what Emily started. Marcus takes the drive, pockets it. Then she's pregnant, did you know? Nathan's face does something that makes Marcus shift his weight backward. Defensive stance, unconscious. No. Marcus nods, you do now. He walks away. Nathan stands in the parking garage for 14 minutes, breathing concrete dust, counting the security cameras, wondering how many people Victoria pays to tell her things he thinks are private. His phone buzzes. Text from Paul Driscoll. Victoria knows you took the drive. She's moving up the timeline. Nathan doesn't respond. He gets in his car and drives nowhere. The motion lands on Emily's supervisor's desk at 8 a.m. Monday, in a manila folder that weighs more than paper should. By 10 a.m., Emily is standing in the U.S. Attorney's office. Corner suite, American flag in the corner, diplomas on the wall spelling out a career built on convictions that stick. The U.S. Attorney doesn't ask her to sit. He reads aloud. His voice is neutral, prosecutorial, the kind of tone that announces guilt before the evidence does. Motion to recuse and dismiss with prejudice, filed by Victoria Langford on behalf of Nathan Cross. Allegations include, he adjusts his reading glasses, filing a false anonymous tip to initiate investigation against a former romantic partner, concealment of said relationship during case assignment, engagement in intimate relations with the defendant during active prosecution, and collaboration with FBI to build a parallel case using illegally obtained evidence. Every word is technically true. Every word is missing the context that would prove Emily was trying to save Nathan, not destroy him. Victoria knows this. The U.S. Attorney sets the motion down. Your badge, building access, turn them in now. Emily's hands don't shake when she places her credentials on his desk. They should. You have 48 hours to submit a formal response. After that, we convene an internal review board. He pauses, looks at her directly. If you're removed from this case, Emily, the entire prosecution collapses. Fruit of the poisonous tree, Nathan Cross walks. As she knows. Press conference is scheduled for noon. Victoria Langford will be framing you as corrupt and Mr. Cross as a victim of government overreach. He sits. Finally, I suggest you stay offline. Emily leaves the federal building through the side exit. No badge to swipe. No elevator access. Security escorts her to the parking garage like she's evidence being transported. She drives home, doesn't turn on the radio. At 12:07 p.m., her phone starts vibrating. News alerts. Social media mentions. Her name trending in ways that will outlive her career. She opens her laptop. Victoria Langford stands at a podium in a navy suit that costs more than Emily's car. Behind her, the law firm's logo, backlit and polished. Okay, I need to pause here, because Victoria Langford just did something that most people wouldn't have the nerve to do. She took Emily's attempt to save Nathan and turned it into a weapon to destroy her career. And the worst part, it's working. So here's what I need to know. Do you think Emily should fight this in court, or should she walk away and let Nathan's case collapse so he goes free? Comment, fight, or walk right now. Because what Emily chooses in the next 10 minutes is going to determine whether she keeps her oath or keeps the man she never stopped loving. And I don't think she can have both. Victoria's voice comes through the laptop speakers, measured, sympathetic, lethal. Ms. Grant's misconduct represents a fundamental betrayal of prosecutorial ethics. My client, Nathan Cross, has been subjected to a vindictive investigation initiated by a former romantic partner who abused her position too. Emily closes the laptop. Marcus Reid's name gets mentioned 3 times in 60 seconds. Her pregnancy is implied but not stated. The press has rules about that. Victoria doesn't. Emily sits on her couch in an apartment that suddenly feels like it belongs to someone else. Someone who had a career. Someone who kept promises. Her father's voice in her memory make them accountable. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. Ms. Grant, my name is Helen Cass. I was Richard Hale's attorney. Emily sits up. He left something for you, a video deposition, recorded 1 week before he died. He said if anything happened to him, you were the only person who could finish what he started. Finish what? Stopping Victoria Langford. The line goes quiet except for the sound of Helen breathing carefully on the other end. Can you meet me in Riverside tonight? Emily looks at the clock. 6 p.m. Riverside is 7 hours through mountains and silence. The trial starts in 6 days. Her suspension hearing is in 48 hours. I'll be there by midnight. She hangs up. Packs a bag, doesn't call Nathan, doesn't call Marcus. She drives. Helen Cass's law office smells like 50 years of dust and cases that settled quietly. Riverside at 12:47 a.m. is silent in the way small towns are, not peaceful, just empty. Emily parks on Main Street under a streetlight that flickers every 11 seconds. Helen is waiting inside, 70 years old, silver hair pulled back, reading glasses on a chain. She unlocks the door when Emily knocks. Come in. The office is exactly what Emily expected. Wood paneling, filing cabinets, framed diplomas from a state university, a desk lamp throwing yellow light across legal pads covered in handwriting that looks like it predates computers. Helen hands Emily a tablet. The screen is black, one file icon in the center. Deposition of Richard Hale, eyes only E. Grant. He recorded this 7 days before the accident. Helen's voice is careful, lawyer careful. He said if he died, you'd be the only one who could use it properly. Emily presses play. Richard Hale's face fills the screen. He's in his home office. Emily recognizes the wall behind him from deposition exhibits. Dark circles under his eyes, tie loosened, hair wrong. He looks at the camera like he's already dead. Ms. Grant, if you're watching this, I'm already dead. Victoria Langford killed me. Not directly, she's too smart for that, but she orchestrated it. Here's what she did. Emily's hand tightens on the tablet. Richard talks for 43 minutes. 2 years ago, Victoria approached him with a proposal. Help her frame Nathan for embezzlement. Create shell companies. Falsify earnings reports. Build a case that would survive SEC scrutiny and collapse Nathan's company. Then Victoria buys it in bankruptcy court. They split the settlement. Richard agreed. He was underwater on his second mortgage. His daughter's medical bills were crushing him. Victoria offered him $2 million and a way out. Then Richard realized Victoria wasn't planning to split anything. She was planning to take everything, Nathan's company, his freedom, his life, frame him, destroy him, marry him first so she could control the narrative when it collapsed. Richard tried to back out. Victoria threatened his family, named his daughter's school, his wife's driving route. the specific parking garage where his son worked nights. So Richard started documenting every email, every wire transfer, every conversation. He hid it all on an encrypted server Emily's prosecution team never found because Richard made sure the discovery requests were worded just narrowly enough to miss it. The video ends with coordinates. 46, 8,721 degrees N, 113, 9,940 degrees W. Richard's face is gray. The server is buried there, everything you need to stop her, but Ms. Grant, he looks directly at the camera. She knows you know, so you need to move fast. The screen goes black. Emily sits in Helen's office, staring at nothing. Helen says quietly, "The coordinates are 40 miles from here, clearing in the woods off Route 9. I've never been there." Emily checks her phone. 2:14 a.m. 6 missed calls. 3 from Marcus Reid. 2 from Nathan. 1 from Victoria Langford. She doesn't listen to any of them. She plugs the coordinates into her GPS, opens the door. "Ms. Grant," Helen stands. "If Victoria killed Richard for trying to stop her, what do you think she'll do when she finds out you have this video?" Emily doesn't answer. She drives. The Montana wilderness at 4 a.m. is black in a way cities never are. No streetlights, no buildings, just road and trees and the specific kind of silence that makes you understand why people believe in things they can't see. Headlights appear in her rearview mirror at 4:30 a.m. They've been following her for 11 miles. Emily speeds up. They speed up. She pulls over, engine running, hand on the door handle. The car behind her pulls over too. A man gets out. Not Marcus. Not Nathan. Paul Driscoll. He walks toward her car, expression unreadable, hands visible. Emily has Richard's tablet in the passenger seat, a pregnancy no one knows about, and 17 minutes of battery left on her phone. Paul knocks on her window. Paul opens Emily's car door before she can lock it. "Nathan sent me. He knows about the video. He knows where you're going." His voice is flat, former Secret Service flat. "So does Victoria. We have maybe 30 minutes before she sends someone who won't just knock on your window." Emily's hand is still on the door handle. "Why should I trust you?" Paul looks at her directly. "Because I was the one who cut Richard Hale's brake line. Victoria paid me $50,000, and I've been trying to figure out how to undo it ever since." Emily's hands tighten on the steering wheel. The leather creaks. Paul doesn't flinch. "I'll explain later. Right now we dig." They reach the coordinates at 5:02 a.m. Clearing in the woods. No road. Just tire tracks from vehicles that came before and a specific kind of Montana darkness that feels older than decisions. The server is buried 3 feet down. It takes them 19 minutes to extract it. Paul digs. Emily holds the flashlight, her hands shake, not from cold. The waterproof case emerges caked in dirt. Emily opens it. Inside, hard drives stacked like evidence, USB backups in sealed bags, and a handwritten note on yellow legal paper that's been folded too many times. The password is the name of the town where you grew up. She'll never guess it. RH. Emily's throat closes. Richard Hale thought of Riverside as the safeguard, the one piece of her Victoria would never know to look for. She types Riverside. The files unlock. 53,000 pages, every email between Victoria and Richard, Every forged bank statement, every shell company registration, every threat delivered in language careful enough to survive a lawyer's review but brutal enough to make a father comply. And one audio file. Label VL Confession. Emily plays it. Victoria's voice, recorded without her knowledge during a meeting with Richard 1 week before the crash. If he doesn't take the plea, we'll make sure the prosecutor has an accident too. Emily Grant doesn't know what she's walking into, and by the time she does, it'll be too late. Paul's face does something Emily has never seen on a former Secret Service agent. Horror. "I didn't know about that part," he says quietly. Emily's phone rings. "Nathan." She answers. "Where are you?" "I have the server." "Good." Nathan's voice is tight. "Wrong. Because Victoria just filed an emergency motion to move the trial up. It starts tomorrow. And she's called me as a hostile witness against you in your suspension hearing. She's trying to bury both of us in the same week." Emily closes her eyes. "She threatened to kill me, Nathan. It's on the recording." Silence. "Then I'm coming to get you. Where are you?" Emily looks at Paul. He shakes his head. "Don't tell him on an open line." "I'll meet you at the courthouse. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. Emily. She hangs up. Paul is already repacking the server case. "We need to move, now." A car engine echoes in the distance. Not distant enough. Coming toward them fast. "Stop, because I need you to understand what just happened." Emily has the evidence that proves Nathan is innocent. She has the recording that proves Victoria tried to have her killed. And she has less than 24 hours to get it into a courtroom before Victoria buries them both. So here's my question. If you were Emily, would you trust Nathan to protect you, or would you hand everything to Marcus Reid and let the FBI handle it? Comment Nathan or Marcus right now. Because the person Emily chooses in the next chapter is the person who's going to determine whether she survives this. And I genuinely don't know which one is the right call. Emily grabs the case. They run for the car. Headlights break through the trees. 2 vehicles, moving fast on terrain that shouldn't support that speed. Paul opens the driver's door. "Get in, drive, don't stop." "What about you?" "I'll buy you time." Emily stares at him. "She'll kill you." Paul pulls something from his jacket. Gun. Service weapon he shouldn't still have. "Not if I tell her where the server really is." He looks at Emily. "Nathan's penthouse, floor 53, that's where you're going, that's what I'm telling her." "But..." "Drive, Miss Grant." Emily drives. In the rearview mirror, Paul stands in the clearing as headlights converge. She doesn't see what happens next. She's 70 miles away when her phone buzzes. Text from unknown number. Paul Driscoll is alive. Barely. Victoria knows about the penthouse. Don't go there. Federal courthouse. 8 a.m. Bring the server. Mr. Marcus Reid. Emily keeps driving. Dawn breaks over Montana like a verdict. Emily arrives at the federal courthouse at 7:51 a.m. with the server case, and 9 minutes before everything ends or begins. Marcus Reid is waiting on the steps, 20 agents behind him, body armor, earpieces, the visible machinery of federal authority preparing to execute. "We have a warrant for Victoria Langford's arrest, conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction of justice." He looks at the case in Emily's hands. "If you have the server, we can execute now." Emily looks past him. Nathan is walking toward them from the parking structure. Alone. No Victoria. No lawyers, just him in a suit that costs more than justice and a face that looks like he hasn't slept since Riverside. He reaches them. Don't give it to him yet. Marcus turns. This isn't your call, Mr. Cross. It is if I'm the one pressing charges. Nathan looks at Emily, only at Emily. She threatened you, she tried to frame me, she killed Richard, but if you hand that server to the FBI right now, the case against me collapses on a technicality. Fruit of the poisonous tree, illegally obtained evidence. I walk, she walks. Nobody pays. Emily's legal mind sees it immediately. The trap Victoria built even in her own destruction. What are you suggesting? Nathan's voice is steady, final. Let the trial start. Put me on the stand. I'll testify against myself. Tell the jury everything Richard did under Victoria's orders. You introduce the server as rebuttal evidence legally obtained through Richard's estate attorney. Victoria goes down. I go down, but the case holds. Marcus steps forward. You'll go to prison. I know. Nathan doesn't look away from Emily. But you'll keep your oath, and she'll pay. That's all I want now. And this is it. This is the moment. Because Nathan just offered to go to prison so Emily can keep her oath and Victoria pays. Marcus wants her to hand over the server and let the FBI handle everything. And Emily has a third option nobody saw coming. So before I tell you what she chooses, I need to know, what would you do? Comment Nathan's sacrifice, FBI's way, or Emily's option right now. Because the choice she makes in the next 60 seconds doesn't just determine the trial. It determines the rest of her life. Here's what she does. Emily opens the server case, pulls out a single USB drive, hands it to Marcus. This is Victoria's confession, the threat against me, attempted murder. That's not poisonous tree, that's a separate crime with separate evidence. Arrest her for that. She looks at Nathan. I'm dropping the embezzlement case, prosecutorial discretion. Richard Hale committed the fraud. Richard Hale is dead. Nathan Cross was framed. There's nothing to prosecute. Nathan's face does something that looks like breathing for the first time in 10 years. You're free. Marcus takes the USB drive, turns toward the courthouse. Victoria Langford is coming down the steps. She sees the agents, sees the drive, sees her entire plan collapsing in Marcus Reid's hand. As she runs, doesn't make it to the street. The arrest is clean, professional, brutal. Victoria is cuffed on the courthouse steps at 8:14 a.m. Emily watches from 30 feet away. Nathan stands beside her. I need to tell you something, he says. I'm pregnant. Nathan stops breathing. 8 weeks, it's yours. I know. Emily turns. How? Paul told me a week ago, and I've been trying to figure out how to ask if you were keeping it. I don't know yet. Nathan's hands are in his pockets. Can I help you decide? Emily looks at him. 10 years, Riverside, Princeton, her father's promise, the oath she swore, the baby that might be the only thing left when the dust settles. Ask me again in 9 months. She walks away. Nathan doesn't follow. Marcus Reid does, catches up at the parking structure. For what it's worth, I think you made the right call. Which one? He smiles, hands her a different business card, phone number, one word, personal. When you're ready to talk, not about the case. He leaves. Emily stands alone with Nathan's baby, Marcus's card, and Victoria's arrest on every screen in the city. Her phone rings. Daniel. I saw the news. Are you okay? No. Good. His voice is clear, sober clear. Because I'm 3 months clean and I need to tell you something about the house. Richard Hale didn't buy it for you. He bought it for Nathan. Deed transfer in probate. Goes to Nathan the day the estate closes. Emily's hand finds her stomach. Why would Richard do that? Don't know, but the note says. So she has a place to come home to. Emily looks up. Nathan is walking toward her, file folder in hand. Richard left me the house. He hands her the folder. I'm giving it to you. Inside, the deed, transferred, her name at the top. I can't fix the 10 years, but I can give you back Riverside. Emily folds the deed, puts it in her coat. What do you want, Nathan? I want you to let me be there. When you decide about the baby, about us, about all of it. Emily gets in her car. I'll think about it. She drives away. Nathan watches until her taillights disappear. The city hums. The story isn't over. It's just starting.